Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Brian Tichy from Silverthorne, and you're listening to Thunder Underground.
Welcome to episode 242 of the Thunder Underground podcast. Trent and Jason here, as always. And this week we've got a great guest.
That we do.
Brian Tichy is here from Silverthorne and from about 27 other bands you know and love, but we'll talk about that in a bit. But yes, Brian Tichy is a badass drummer. We've got a great interview with him coming up. But before we do that, we need to let you know that we are sponsored every week by MedFarm and DEB Concerts. MedFarm is a dispensary located in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma at 24683 East Highway 51. They've got a huge selection, so if you get in there, check them out. They've always got discounts going on. One of the discounts that is always going on is if you tell them that you heard about them on Thunder Underground or mention our name, they'll give you 10% off your order, which is very cool. They also always have discounts on random things, so if you follow them on their social media or their website, you should be able to find that out. The website is medfarmok.com. Instagram is at medfarmok, and Facebook, just MedFarm, that's PHARM. They've also got a doctor on site every Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And they are about to celebrate their one-year anniversary here this coming week.
Congratulations.
Yeah, definitely congrats, and thank you for being a sponsor for the majority of that time as well.
Indubitably.
Yes, and we also need to mention that their slogan is Cannabis with a Cause, and that cause is no-kill animal shelters. 30% of their proceeds are going to build no-kill animal shelters, which, what do you say about that?
I'm in.
You're in? Yeah, I think we all are.
Of course.
Yeah, that's a great deal. They've got a land and a building purchased for the first one, and they are working on getting that set up. Great cause, family owned, locally owned, so get in there and support these guys, MedFarm. Tell them Thunder Underground sent you. DEB Concerts is a promoter based out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. They keep bringing in some amazing acts to the Tulsa area. They've actually brought in an arena show last year with Snoop Dogg and Nelly to the BOK Center. There should be more of that coming as well. And they continually bring in acts to the Ideal Ballroom in downtown Tulsa, like Tom Kiefer, Sebastian Bach, Dokken, Saxon, Last in Line, Warrant, Lita Ford, Bisto Blanco, Steelheart, Striper, Firehouse, Crate White, Winger. Huge long list. Keeps growing. And they have more announcements coming soon on that.
I can't wait to see what they're going to have in 2020.
Yes. Maybe they'll finally have Taiketo.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be badass. Bring Lita Ford back with Taiketo, or yeah. I don't know, they would be great for like one of those double bills, that they've done. Telling you, it needs to happen.
That's right. Dangerous Toys.
I was just about to say Dangerous Toys. I'm telling you, it could go Trickster, Dangerous Toys, and Taiketo.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
Have like Grind open up.
There, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
You just booked it. Call Doug and tell him you're going to handle this.
I don't know about that. I don't know the first thing about handling all that. Yeah,
I'll find your phone numbers and we'll get it done.
Okay. You do that. Thank you.
But also, DEB Concerts books the D&B processing stage at Rocklahoma.
Of course.
They've been sponsoring that for a few years, and this is the second year that they will be booking everything, and the announcements on that should be coming soon. The lineup for Rocklahoma is supposed to be announced in January, so I'm sure we'll hear about it. Obviously, we'll hear about it then, maybe a little sooner, but we'll let you know as soon as we find out. Last year, that stage featured Slaughter, Ace Frehley, Lita Ford, Bisto Blanco, and a ton of local and regional acts as well. So that is definitely something to look forward to if you go out to Rocklahoma. So we'll bring you all that as soon as we can, and as well, thank you to DB Concerts. All right, so before we talk about some other stuff, should we just play some music?
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to play a band out of Sweden. You might have figured they were from Sweden by their name.
Corrosive Sweden.
That's right. That is the name of the band, and the name of the song is Fire from a Gun. Fire from a Gun, track there from Corrosive Sweden, a band out of Sweden. And we've said that multiple times over the past 4.5 years on this podcast that we love music from Sweden.
And this is no different. This kicks ass.
That's right. Yeah, from start to finish, you know, it's got a few different things going on. I love this style of music. And the thing I love about Sweden is it's like, you know, so many people, when you hear the word Sweden, when it comes to rock music, you go straight to the heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And there's so much stuff like this.
Yeah, definitely.
Bands like...
And see, this song was so good that before we came back here, I had to pause, and my balls were kicked up into my throat. So I had to, like, hack them all out again. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so needless to say, a great song.
That... Maybe it corroded your balls.
It probably. There's not much left to deal with in the first place. That just fucking sent it over the edge weird. There.
Yeah.
My old stupid ass.
Speaking of, the band Corroded, I think, is from Sweden, too.
See, there you go.
I think they're from Sweden.
Full circle.
Don't quote me on that, but
it's all a full corrosive circle.
Right. So, yeah, check out Corrosive Sweden. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Tell them that Thunder Underground sent you.
Right?
Yeah. All right. Is there anything going on we should talk about?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
So then that means probably not.
Probably not. Or there probably is, and we're just fucking drawing a blank.
Yeah.
Because we've both been at work all day and shit.
Right. There's, like we say this every time, I should write something down when you think about it.
We're the most unprepared motherfuckers in podcast land.
No, normally, we have a couple things, but then there's always those times like, what else? Oh, well, I didn't write that down. So.
Oh, well. Go to Blabbermouth or something.
You know what I just thought of when you said that? Is that we should have pulled up that quote from Pete Townsend talking about Keith Moon and asked Brian what he thought about that.
I mean...
Remember that shit from a week or two ago?
Yeah, he bagged on Keith Moon and John Entwistle.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ, dude.
But anyway, we need to get into that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Since, we don't really have any, news topics to talk about, let's talk about Brian Tichy.
Yeah, I mean, this is... Okay, let's... He's got a great new project out called Silverthorne. And, in this interview, he kept using that word organic. And I like that. You know that. And I think that's a great way to describe this band. It's real, organic, meat, potatoes, rock and roll. I love it.
Yeah, it's melodic, it's dark, but it's just good, kind of like somewhere between hard rock and metal.
And then on top of that, I mean, he's played with everybody. I mean, let's go. Foreigner, Whitesnake, Pride and Glory, Billy Idol,
Ozzy,
the Dead Daisies.
Yeah.
I know I'm forgetting some shit.
Queensryche.
Did he play Queensryche?
Jeff Tate's Queensryche.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I think
that's not really Queensryche. That's just Jeff Tate. Okay, fuck him.
No, let me say something here. We made comments about that when it's happening, but I went to their show when I think it was still called Jeff Tate's Queensryche or something like that before it was called Operation Mindcrime.
I gotcha.
When he played the River Spirit.
Yeah.
And Brian was in that band at the time.
Oh, nice.
I mean, it was a fantastic band. You had Rudy Sarzo up there.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Tichy. I'm trying to remember who was playing guitar. I think Kelly Gray, actually, but I don't know. But anyway, and then he was in Operation Mindcrime as well.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to see him because I couldn't remember if he was playing for Whitesnake the two times I saw him from the front row, but I was thinking, no, I think by that point, Tommy Aldridge was already back.
Gotcha. And
then I looked it up, and he had left Whitesnake a few months before that, but anyway.
Yeah, this guy's played with everybody.
Yeah, I want to point out that he played and co-wrote the album Devil's Playground by Billy Idol.
Yes.
And this album is one of hard rock's most underrated works of the past 20 years.
It is spectacular.
In my opinion, if someone said, make a list of the top 20 albums of the past 20 years, this probably would be on my list. That's how much I love this album.
Yeah.
And the fact that he co-wrote it and, he did a Christmas album with Billy Idol where he did everything. Like he played drums, he played guitar, he played bass, and the only thing Billy did was sing.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, so, you got a great base there. So we had a great conversation and talked about a lot of stuff.
/ a snake pit.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
Nice one. There you go.
Yeah, and I fucking love both those albums. But I think he just toured. I don't know if he ever played on an album.
Okay, gotcha.
He also played with Gilby Clarke for quite a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Sash Jordan.
See, list just keeps growing.
Yeah. Do you want to just jump into it?
Why not?
All right. Why not? Here you go. Brian Tichy of Silverthorne. Released a couple songs now with Silverthorne. You guys have played your first show. Like, how did this whole project come about?
A few years ago, the Silverthorne singer / guitar player Pete Shoulder, he and myself got involved in a project with the DeLeo brothers from SDP, Robert and Dean. SDP didn't have a singer at the time, and I had been buddies with them for a while. We had recorded music together in hopes of getting a singer, total non-STP band. And through one person or another, Pete Schultz came into their world, and they were blown away by him, and we all got together and pretty much made a record. And somewhere down the road after that, the guys, Robert and Dean, found a singer for STP, somebody that they were real happy with, and they kind of had to make a decision. So the decision was to continue with STP, which puts us on the back burner. And we totally understood. Of course, we're bummed out, but we understand. With a band as big as STP, that has a ton of fans and great success. If you have the opportunity to carry on to the new singer, you might as well go for it. So a couple months after that, Pete and I got together after being in a project with him, and realizing not only is he a great singer, but a great lyricist, songwriter, guitar player, and more. I said, let's get together and write. And that's what we did. And that was all 2018. We got a deal this year with Golden Robot Records, and bass player Daniel Spree came into the mix, and there you have it. Pretty much put our first single out at the end of the summer, and second one out last week or something like that, a couple weeks ago, and we're moving.
And, what we've heard so far is great, and was wondering, is the sound thought out, or was that just kind of what organically came about when the three of y'all got together?
Yeah, I think we didn't talk too much about the sound. It was more like we just kind of could tell we were cut from the same cloth, into the same things, and wanted similar things in a band, which it was also known and came into play when we were working with the Leo guys. We all sort of cut from the same cloth, and we wanted a big, loud, organic, powerful rock band, and we wanted to sound that way, sound like old school records where the musicians are what makes up the sound, not so much the producer and the studio technology and trickery.
Who's producing your guys' EP? Is it you?
Yeah, Pete and I pretty much. Yeah, we just do it all ourselves. Have a studio house, and we just get in there and write, record, do it all ourselves, and just try to have big ears and be smart about it, but really not trying to follow any current formulas. It's more about listening to the old records that we love from the 70s and those organic sounds, and just trying to go down that road more or less. And I throw in some of the bands from the 90s, because there was a lot of great sounds going on there where bands really sounded like bands.
Do you prefer self-producing, or do you like also having the option of having someone else critique what you're doing?
I wouldn't mind a producer, if you got together and met and you were all on the same path. There's definitely nothing wrong with it. But these days, if you can, this is the do-it-yourself world. So if you can get it to a point where you're happy and excited about it, and you have the means, and you have a studio, and you have the gear, there's a budget that comes along with a producer, and that's a whole different thing. So so if you can take advantage of all my years working on my own stuff as an engineer and producer, and if you're working together on the same path, I guess not everybody can do it. Not everybody has like sort of producer's ears and stuff, and somebody may say, well, I don't even like the way your band sounds. But yeah, and you might not like the way it sounds with a producer either. So as long as we were happy with it, and we be it against our favorite records and favorite bands, and just see if we're in somewhat of a similar ballpark.
Right on, right. Well, you have your EP coming soon. Do you guys have plans for a full album?
Yeah, we started with an EP just because when we signed with the label, it was like spring, and we have a full LP's worth of material, but it was just in this day and age, that would have just been that much more work for us to get everything together by a certain time. We had to get it together because I was gone in Japan all summer for like 4 months. So we really only had till the beginning of May to, kind of mix, master, do videos, photos, artwork, get it all together. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes along with it. Even though it's just an EP, you still got to do the same amount of work as far as the prep behind everything. It's just if we did a full LP, we probably would have wanted to write more mixing, more mastering, just a bigger picture of details going on. So we figured, as much as we love LPs, they're not as popular as they used to be, and just people aren't buying, bands for LPs as much as I wish they were, because that's what I grew up on, and we all probably did. But But yeah, it's an EP for now. 5 songs. We just figured, okay, here's a chunk of songs. Let's figure out what the 5 best are and that represent us best for now. And then there's still some on the back burner, and we're already writing new stuff. So hopefully an LP, it'll be, by the end of next year.
Well, you mentioned writing with Pete. Was Daniel involved in the writing process too? Do all 3 of you guys write together, or how do you guys do that?
Yeah, Daniel, Pete and I did all the writing in the beginning, just because we took on. We just kind of moved forward with the idea of, the Leo project didn't work out. Let's just get together and see what we can do. We both can play bass guitar. I'll do the drums, he'll do the vocals. We just did it. We figured, why not just go for it and see what we come up with, and worry about everything else after. If what we come up with is exciting us, if we think it's cool, we'll move forward. And now, anything we do from here on out, Daniel's definitely, going to be a part of.
That music that you and Pete recorded with Robert and Dean, is that something that might ever see the light of day?
I'd never say never. Just if you look at the past couple of years and what it takes to, if you're a band like Stone Temple Pilots, like, as big as they are and as successful, and when they came out, they announced a new singer, a new record, a new tour, and I think they've been doing that for a couple of years now, and then I think they announced another, more maybe an acoustic record or something come out. So they're kind of living the life of a full-time rock band. How long will that go? I have no idea. And if they ever decide they want to take a break and we all try and align our schedules and make it happen, it's possible. But I hope they keep kicking ass, doing what they're doing.
Right.
And I hope we're going to keep getting busier and busier ourselves. So that's my main concern right now. And but of course down the road, if it comes out, that's cool. And if we get behind it in one way or another, that's cool. But it's not something that's like the top of my to-do list, or I'm sure it's not the top of theirs,
But is Silverthorne something you guys are going to push as a full-time project in the coming year and trying to tour with it and everything?
Yeah. I mean, it's an uphill battle. It's just, nothing's easy about being a brand new band, no matter how good you may think you are, or how many people enjoy your music. It's still the beginning stages, and it takes budgets and, managers and agents and all that. It's just there's a huge list of, stuff you got to get together. And we don't expect miracles. We just expect to work hard, get in the trenches, and do what we got to do. And the next thing is just we're working on a UK tour now for the beginning of the year, and just talking to management, agents, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, you recently had that house fire that took part of your studio. Did that end up affecting any of your guys' music or anything recorded or anything significant in that way?
Yeah, I'm sitting outside the house right now, loading gear into my buddy's truck and my car. There's a lot of smoke and heat damage, and I can't say. It's one of those things where, if something turns on, that's cool. You might think it works, and then judging, you got to figure out how much smoke and heat damage was really extensive. How long is that hard drive going to last? How long are those microphones going to last? How long is those computers and preamps going to last? It's kind of, I've never dealt with this before. So right now it's a ton of cleaning involved. There's definitely stuff that's trashed. The place is uninhabitable. So I'm in the process of getting everything out, getting it into a storage unit, cleaning it, and finding a new place to set up. So yeah, but right now I think the thing is to get backing up everything onto brand new hard drives. As long as I can get that going, I think I should be all right. And then it's just a matter of how much gear actually turns on and continues to work. So I'm not sure yet.
Well, just a couple months ago, they re-released this 25th anniversary of Pride and Glory. Well, how do you look back on that all these years later?
That was cool. That was, I was like, wow, that was a long time ago. It doesn't feel like that long. But yeah, it was cool. It was I had a blast in the band and fun time making the record, and got to, it was my first time getting out of the country and touring Europe and Japan and all that stuff, and playing those, it was So there was a lot of great highlights. You know, we made a record up in Seattle, and it was '93. So you know, that was all the grunge stuff, which I absolutely loved, was going on then. So it was just a lot of fun to be up there making a record and meeting people up there. And then touring was great. You know, and playing with James and Zach was a blast. You know, great buddies and great players. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. Getting to play. You know, when the label tells you, yeah, you're going to Europe and playing a bunch of clubs and stuff, but you're also playing some festivals, and one of them's Donington, and you're going to open up Donington with Pantera and Aerosmith, Extreme, and all that stuff. That was pretty awesome. A lot of great stuff like that was happening.
With so many years behind the drum kit, have you had any ailments, and what's the best way that you've kept in shape? I don't know. It comes and goes in spurts. Playing drums is, a nice form of, it's a workout itself, especially when you're on tour and you're playing more of a aggressive style drumming. I guess that's there's something there. I guess you don't think, as drummers, we don't think about it. You just kind of do it. But at the same time, getting on stage and delivering a show, it doesn't matter if you're a drummer or a guitar player. You watch, whether it's Pete Townsend or Ted Nugent, do their thing, or Eddie Van Halen. It's like there's a ton of energy going on, and so there's just touring and performing is one thing. But I don't know. Outside of that, I just, I like, sometimes I'll go on spurts where I'm running, and whenever I get a chance, I mountain bike and stuff like that. But yeah, it comes and goes. It depends on how busy you are and what your schedule's like. At least for me, I mean, some people are more religious about it and have a strict schedule, but yeah, I just try and, I try not to let too much time go by without doing stuff, but even racquetball, man, I'll see, I get this buddy I play racquetball with, and sometimes I haven't played him yet. I think we played once, but I'll, just walk in there and George Lynch is in there, go working out or whatever. And I think we played racquetball once, but he's got a messed up arm or something now. So, but I want to get him back out there and beat his ass. Well, I think it was that metal show you had the speed bag on a drum set.
Yeah, it was fun. But I didn't really do the speed bag as far as for a workout and all that stuff. It was more just like I loved the sound and look of it and the controlled chaos of a speed bag and the technique behind it. And I don't know, it was like 10 years ago or so, I just started getting really into it. And watching these other guys that are now my good friends on YouTube, like just doing this real serious advanced stuff, and I got into it. I got into all that advanced technique, keeping it in time while playing, punch drumming the music and stuff. And then Eddie Trunk called me, hey, you want to play some drums on that metal show? I was like, yeah. I just got this speed bag company that wanted to work with me. They saw some videos and they sent me, so I told them, hey, I'm going on this metal show thing, and they sent me this like 270-pound speed bag stand, and because it's got to be really heavy to keep it secure.
Yeah.
And it was great because you could like set it up right next to you, right above your floor tom, and keep time with it. And a couple days before the show, I just worked up a couple of beats and went for it. And but yeah, it was cool to actually have it documented and on national TV or whatever. So but yeah, I still do it. I was in Japan with this band Bees. They're like the biggest rock band in Japan. I was there all summer. And underneath the stage, my wife sent out my speed bag stuff, and the Bees crew every day would set it up underneath the stage in the arenas, and I just go there in the middle of the afternoon, just spend time bagging. It's a lot of I absolutely love it. It's just a matter of like anything, how much time do I have to dedicate to it? It depends on what I'm doing with other stuff in my life.
Definitely.
Well, you also played guitar and bass. Was drumming your first instrument? Was one of those?
Yeah. Drums were first, and then started playing guitar after.
So, was that something you just picked up after you became a professional musician, or was it something you've been doing since you were young? I mean, guitar-wise.
Yeah, my dad had an acoustic guitar, so he showed me a couple chords and a Beatles riff when I was young, and then but I didn't follow up immediately after. I just started playing drums, but then a couple years later, I got I was into guitars. So somewhere, I don't know, started playing drums in third grade, and then by sixth grade, I was also eyeing the guitar and wanted to learn about it, and started learning from friends and learning off of records, and started putting time into guitar as well.
Well, I saw you had that Breaking Down Bonham videos on your website where you go kind of deep into a style and teach people how to do it. Like, how do you incorporate like Bonham style or other drummers style into your playing, but also keep your own style as well?
Well, I think that's what we all do. We all grew up on our influences, and I don't know if they ever leave you. They're just a part of you, and then hopefully you have enough of your own thing where you don't only sound like something else. You know, I mean, I as much as I love Bonham, and I also love Neil Peart, and I love Clyde Stubblefield. For those who don't know, he's James Brown's drummer, and you put those three together, or David Garibaldi or something like that, or Steve Gadd. You know, none of those three don't really have much to do with each other, you know, as far as drummers, except for the fact that they're all killer drummers. But, you know, if you play a Bonham set and you have a big bass drum and it sounds wide and open, people go, oh, he's like a Bonham thing. Or if you do big triplet fills, oh, it's Bonham. It's like, yeah. But there's, you know, like, he's not the only drummer I ever listened to. I've listened to tons of drummers, but he just happens to be my favorite, and it's probably most rock drummers' favorite. But yeah, on my website, I haven't even announced it yet. It took my web guys it took so long to get the PayPal thing hooked up and like whatever, and whatever he had to do behind the scenes. But it was earlier in the spring. I put a bunch of videos together, and finally he got it together in the fall. And breaking down Bonzo, it's just breaking down Bonham. It's pretty intense. It's like I thought it'd be pretty easy to do, and the more I got into it, the more I really wanted to capture the sounds that were close to the songs I was digging into, and you know, then I'm doing it all myself, and it's a new thing, so you gotta, like, you know, update your computer and, you know, edit the videos and blah blah blah, you know. But the more you get into it, the more you're like, okay, I got to see this through, and I want to make it as good as I can. But there's one song up now. I just started with rock and roll, and it's you know, I haven't, like I said, I haven't announced it yet. So there's like a few people signed up, and that's cool, but I haven't made it a thing yet. And I've just been maybe a little lazy and some other stuff going on. But you know, there's one song on now. It's like the whole playing along to the song with the audio, you know, with the song audio, playing without the song audio, so you just hear my drum track, and then like an hour it lesson. But it's not just like, oh, here's the cool parts of the song, or this is how you play the intro or the outro. It's the whole thing of, like, because when I teach, the people want to learn this or that, and I go, that's cool, but there's so many things that will get you better to get to where you want to go. You can't just go there and just jump into it and go, great, I'm there. There's like a whole mess of stuff you got to go through to get where you want to go. And that's kind of what I dig into. It's like, it's not just like, this is how you play the beat. It's more like, this is what you got to do to learn how to play the techniques behind those beats to get them to sound a certain way and be comfortable with everything going on in the song. You know, it's so I've never seen anybody do it. You know, it's always like, oh, this is how you play this Bonham lick or that thing, or this is how you play. You know, it's like a quick little breakdown of the meat and potatoes of it. But to actually dig into, here is what's going on, and these are 10 things you have to think about outside of just the cool little parts. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I just felt like, you know, going for it a little bit and seeing if people dig it. But also, you know, really trying to be helpful, because there's so, you know, just because I'm such a big fan and there's so much talk about Bonham that I was like, nobody's ever really sat there and, you know, broken it down piece by piece. You know, it's always kind of glazed over, or just going to the big, exciting, fun stuff, you know, and there's so many intricate things happening that I wanted to, you know, put more attention toward that, you know, because it's really just, it's not just about, it's like getting to be a better drummer through listening to John Bonham, you know what I mean? And through everything going on, not just the big parts that everybody talks about, you know. It's like there's a lot of stuff going on that I think ultimately makes you a better drummer all around.
I imagine digging into that like takes quite a bit of time. So like when you're going into other songs, do you have an idea of how many of these you're trying to do, like once a month or just whenever you get the chance?
Oh yeah, it took longer than I thought, and so I have like 4 of them finished. And,
okay.
You know, I'll put up one now. You know, I mean, there's one up now, and then after I announce it, I'll put up another one. You know, maybe a couple of weeks, few weeks later, then another one next month, and see what the feedback's like. And if people are digging it and want more, you know, then I'll just, you know, do another one. You know, I'll take it as it comes. But initially, I think I wanted to have like 10 ready, and after I put the time in, because it wasn't just about learning the song and explaining it. It was also about the engineer side of setting up the mics and tuning the drums and getting, like, I bugged out a little too hard, but in the end, I don't think it's a bad thing. But I start thinking, okay, I really want to get my drums sounding close to his on this recording. And what you're trying to do is you're putting me in 2019. A, I'm not John Bonham. B, I don't have the gear. C, I don't have it's just a whole, I'm trying to get as close as I can. It's like a sound-alike thing, but I didn't really I didn't envision putting that time into that side of it until I got it going. I was like, oh man, I just started going, it would be really cool if I had the drums sounding closer to the actual recording, because that's a whole other side of something that I'm into doing and stuff, engineering drums and all that. So that added into, that took up a lot of time.
Being someone that's played tons of these songs with the Moby Dicks or the Bonzo Bash, like what's the hardest Led Zeppelin song to play on drums?
Oh, that's kind of a funny question. What's the hardest one to play? I mean, it depends on the drummer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Something that might be easy for somebody. I don't know. What's the hardest one? Down by the Seaside. Do you know it? Do you know the song?
Yeah. I'm not a drummer, but yeah, I know the song.
Okay, yeah. Even though it's a nice, mellow, little shuffly song, it was the song when I used to play the Physical Graffiti. That was the hardest. That was my test. Can I lay back and play that shuffle, and with his little accents in the sections with the accents? That was always a test, because it's so laid back and so mellow. That it was a whole different style, and so I put that up there as one of the most difficult, just to make it feel good. And then another one is like is Fool in the Rain. As far as Fool in the Rain, just a little bit of the technique and the swing behind it, not hitting too hard. The B section of Fool in the Rain, there's some stuff going on there that I've seen explained incorrectly, and if you really listen to what's going on, it's just badass stuff. It's definitely not your average rock drummer stuff at all. It's definitely four-way independence and coordination, and more of a funk R&B kind of drummer thing, than what everybody thinks John Bonham is a heavy-handed basher. Is
John Bonham the guy that made you want to play drums, or did he become your favorite drummer after you were already playing?
Yeah, nobody made me want to play drums. I just thought they were the coolest thing on the planet. I just thought drums were the coolest. They sounded the coolest. They looked the coolest. So that was it. But the first drummer that I got into, that was my, first drum hero, would be Peter Criss, because I got all in the Kiss first, Bonham came soon after. I did like Joey Kramer and a whole bunch of other drummers, Alex Van Halen, Neil Peart, and all that stuff. But yeah, Peter Criss was the first for sure.
Right on. Cool, man. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you. Yeah, no problem, man.
There you go, Brian Tichy of Silverthorne. A huge thank you to Jody of Best Bet Promotions for this and for her continued support of this podcast. We've worked with her quite a bit in the past year or two. And, of course, a huge thank you to Brian for taking some time out there. As you heard, he was in the process of going through his studio that had that fire in like a few weeks ago. And
yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, so a huge thank you to him for taking some time out to talk to us. Longtime fan of this guy. He's just one of those guys, like I mentioned Tommy Aldridge earlier, that's just amazing to watch. Even if you're not a drummer and you don't know what the hell's going on, it's just like he commands your attention when he's playing the drums.
Definitely.
So very cool to be able to get him on here. And like we said, Silverthorne has 2 songs out that you need to check out. They've got this EP coming here in 2020. And as he said, a full album later in the year, hopefully. So really looking forward to that. And really glad we got a chance to talk to him.
Of course. I've said that a lot this podcast. I'm going to stop talking now.
I think we say, of course, a lot.
Probably.
It's one of those things like, and whatever. Something we should mention is that if you're in the Tulsa area or the Oklahoma City area this weekend, Death Angels come in Oklahoma.
Holy fuck.
This Friday night, they're playing Oklahoma City. They're originally playing Enid, but they moved it probably because it would make more sense for it to be in Oklahoma City.
That's right.
So it's at 89th Street. This tour also features Ex Mortis and Hellfire.
Yes.
Which are both great. Hellfire especially.
Yeah, Hellfire kicks fucking ass.
Yes. And the Oklahoma City show will feature Archon. And I don't have the list in front of me. I can't remember who else is on that specific show. But the Tulsa show, that's at the 89th Street, if I didn't mention that. And then Tulsa show's at the Venue Shrine, which along with Ex Mortis and Hellfire, it also features Bases Loaded, Severmind,
There's so many bands on this bill.
I know. Isn't there another?
Yeah.
I think there's I should know.
I know, we should know, but...
Is it Archon?
I think Archon's on that one.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I'm going to look it up. I mean,
yeah, because I remember saying that before and saying that's, fucking great because we love Archon. I hadn't seen him in a while. Yeah, that is this Saturday.
Yeah, Archon, Bases Loaded, Severmind, Chaotic Front.
Oh, so there's another band, Chaotic Front. Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, it all starts at 11 a.m. Just kidding. Just kidding.
It's called Death Angel Fest. And speaking of, Death Angel was recently nominated for a Grammy.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, the Grammys are a fucking shit show.
Yeah.
But, I will say the last, we've talked about this the last couple years when stuff got announced. The last 2 or 3 years, the Grammys have done a bit better at their nominees.
Yes.
At least it's still not the shit I would nominate. I'd nominate Death Angel, but I meant they've done a good job of picking 4 or 5 bands that kind of cross all the different genres.
Yeah.
Like this year, I know Tool was in it and I Prevail. Can't remember who else.
Well, and then there was there's that one year a couple of years ago where they found some way to fit Beyonce into some rock category. I mean, they're fucking dipshits.
Right.
They're test tube babies over there, so whatever.
Yeah, but I'm just glad they're
I know, you're right.
They've got someone putting an effort because for years it was like the nominees would be like Black Sabbath, War Pigs live from Southampton, Ireland in fucking 2009. It's like, okay.
Or Metallica, Better Than You. That was never even a single. What the fuck? Right. That was a song they've never even played live.
Yeah.
Or whatever the shit it was. I mean, it's like, they're clueless.
But anyway, so congrats to Death Angel.
Yes.
Hopefully they win it, but we know that
they've been on this podcast.
They have, yeah. Ted, the guitarist, has been on this podcast, so check that one out. So yeah, and of course, if this is your first time listening and you don't know who else has been on this podcast, we've had tons of people that have ranged from recently. We had on Kenny Hickey from Typo Negative, which is a big one for both of us.
That's right.
We love that band. We also love Life of Agony. We had on Alan Robert recently. We love Guns N' Roses, or at least I do. We had on Dizzy
Reed.
Fucking Reed.
Oh,
so that was really cool. We also had on Vivian Campbell from Def Leppard and Last in Line. Who else have we had on this thing?
We had Don Jameson, Neil Fallon from Clutch.
Hell yeah. Mike D from Kill Switch Engage.
Right. That was badass. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, we've had on thrash metal guys. We've had on glam metal guys. We've had on heavy ass stuff like Black Dahlia Murder, Trevor. And then we've had on Shooter Jennings.
I mean, we do what we want.
Yeah, Vanilla Ice. So it kind of crosses the board. Vanilla Ice hasn't showed up yet, but that will be in the next week or so.
Okay.
Yeah. All this is at soundcloud.com/Thunder-Underground. You can also listen on iTunes, Google Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Mixcloud. You can also listen on our website, thethunderunderground.com. And everything is on the website there as far as social media links. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. And go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel at The Thunder Underground. There's a lot of videos of us reviewing albums, songs, concerts, all that kind of stuff. So get on there and check that out as well. All right. I think that covers it.
Yeah. We did it. Another one in the books.
Definitely. Huge thank you again to Brian Tichy. Thank you to Med Farm and DEB Concerts. And until next time.
Thunder Underground, y'all.